that transition was just on point, man. Just on
Hey,
point.
appreciate
Um,
it. Now to break our hearts.
this sucks, but I can't say I'm surprised, which is basically
Yeah.
just Warner Bros. Discovery the past couple months. Sucks, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they basically come out and said, yeah, I hope you guys weren't hoping for DC Fandom this year, because you're not getting it. And here's where I'm gonna piss some people off. I'm not surprised. It's probably for the best. As much as I liked first Fandom, I thought it was great. Second one was okay. I like the second DC Fandom a lot better than some other people. I think the first one was significantly better. But here's why I don't think it's the end of the world. They say in their statement of, when we did Fandom, the world is in a much different place. Now that we are more or less out of the woods in that respect, we are looking forward to bringing back our movies and TV shows in front of live audiences and live conventions. I'm going, sure, but you also have nothing new to report. What are the Nemodians say in Phantom Menace? We will tell him when there's something to report. We'll give him a reporter when we have something to report,
Yeah.
something along those lines. That's DC right now. Like, all the stuff that they probably would have shown us at DC Fandom this year, they showed us last year at DC Fandom. What are you going to show us? Yet another The Hierarchy of DC Universe is about to change trailer with Black Adam, which, you know, he's coming this Thursday, more than likely. This opens the door for it to come back to, like, proper conventions, which I think is good. I like
Yeah.
DC Fandom, and I wish more events live stream in the future. I get that Comic-Con wants still to have some exclusivity to make it worth it that people show up there. I get that. But at the same time, I wish more events were live streamed so you could share it with a global audience, and I think DC Fandom did that incredibly well. I get why they cut it, though, because they want to get buzz at conventions again. David Zaslav is very old school. He much rather promote something in person with people than via social media. And don't get me wrong, they'll still have a social media presence, but I think this wasn't a cost-saving measure. I'm sure it was to a certain degree, but I think it's more of, that was indicative of its time. We are back to in-person stuff. Maybe I'm just being optimistic. I think maybe they're hoping someday to do a D23-esque event where instead of just live hosting it, they can live stream it, but from an actual physical location type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would agree with that, because I think as much as I love even the first Fandom, it was not without its jank. Like,
Oh,
there
that
were
Wonder
several
Woman panel?
Yeah, I mean, when your panel is just some people playing like Truth or Dare or something like
Oh,
that, that's not really much of a panel. You know what I mean? So like, there are some things that when it's Fandom, it has felt like, okay, cool. So we have this event, we have to make it an event, and so everything has to show up. Like, we can't just mention something; it has to show up. And even like that little, as awesome as it was, that panel from, oh geez, the guys that are making the Static Shock comic books and stuff like that,
oh yeah.
that panel did kind of go a little long, and it was like, maybe it felt like it went long only because like both you and I were like, okay, we know why you're here, just,
Yeah.
are you gonna announce it? Like, come on, like,
Open with that later. Open with that and
Yeah.
then talk about everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, obviously they wanted to build up, like, why is this important? Give us some history. And I get that, and I appreciated it. But that being said, I do think getting back to doing in-person reveals, conventions, and stuff like that is definitely the better move. I don't see why, at this point in time, like, why you wouldn't live stream those. I agree with you, though, that I think I wouldn't be surprised if they do like a D23 type thing, but probably maybe do like a Warner Bros. Like complete like docket, not just DC.
A WB23.
Yes,
A
but yeah,
WB23 in me.
don't send your DNA, kids. The government can track it. Like learning new things every day, my dude. But yeah, I feel like I'm not like you. I'm not surprised. Fandom, it did definitely feel like a bunch of people, because people would zoom in. I think that's the other thing. It's like it's definitely indicative of its time. Like we are no longer stuck in our houses anymore. Like for what we had, I love that we're like, yeah, stuck in our homes. And I think I watched the first Fandom with you in, no,
No, the
that was the
second one.
second one.
Yeah,
That
the
was the
second
second,
one.
second one. But still, like it is definitely like the world is in a different place finally. Again, thank goodness. And I think it's time to move on from Fandom, and I'm not against that necessarily.
Also, when it comes to conventions, there's definitely a spot opening up. Yes, we know Marvel announced a bunch of stuff at San Diego Comic-Con this year, but that was the first time in a while. I mean, obviously there was a big elephant in the room as to why, but Marvel is withdrawing their presence quite a bit in recent years from San Diego Comic-Con and other conventions in favor of D23 and other events. So that lays the groundwork perfectly for Warner Brothers or DC to just go, oh yeah, we can easily just make Comic Con our headline event each year, like it used to be. Like when, oh, was it Tom Hiddleston comes on stage as Loki? That was a huge like fan reaction moment. Or as much as we didn't like the end result, when Zack Snyder got what was it, Henry Lennox to read that little bit from Dark Knight Returns, and then they
That
show
was
the
cool.
Batman, the Superman logo, and then the
Hmm.
Batman logo, Batman versus Superman. You're like, all right, that's a cool moment. Those type of moments I think can be brought back now. As great as DC Fandom was, okay, I get that they want to transition to live. This could be a budget cut thing. If you want to be pessimistic, it's a budget cut thing. If you want to be optimistic, it's a they want to return to in-crowd thing. Also, I don't think it's a full news topic, but we talked about it last week. Well, looks like Dan Lynn's not in the running anymore for the head of DC.
Yep.
Which that doesn't surprise me because he's had this production company that he's basically founded from day one, and I think taking over DC, he would have had to give that up, and I completely get it if you are emotionally invested in a company that you built, wanting to stick with that for a while. So I completely understand. Hopefully Disney, not Disney, they already have good leadership. Well, except for at the top. Hopefully DC can find the right guy soon. Hopefully Dan Lynn's happy. All parties can move on. But yeah, I think this just signals that we're moving to live events again, which is for the best.